Okay, so I'm on a roll here. So it's more information. I don't want to put a lot of information, or I don't want to over saturate the segments of time with information. So I don't want to put a lot of minutes. So I'm doing different videos. So for those who've seen it, it looks like you've seen the same video because it's the same night. I'm wearing the same thing. So um, I wanted to talk about another point for the night, and tonight is it's still May 6th, 2016. Um, and the other videos is obviously the same night, May 6th. Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about was it's very important for you to know your credit and keep a monitoring tab on it. Some banks, like Fifth Third Bank and I think Wells Fargo and Capital One and Bank of America, I know those banks in particular have monitoring services that they offer free to their customers, and that's cool. So if you have those banks, try to utilize those services. However, if you don't have those banks, or you're not customers or whatever those banks, you can also go to Privacy Guard and Credit Check Total, which everybody's been using for years, Equifax.com, MyScore.com. There's these different sites you can go to monitor your credit. The reason why you want to monitor your credit because there are certain things you need to know as far as what your credit looks like and then what you need to do or where you can go and shop. Okay, so for instance, um, if you know your credit on all three bureaus, which is important, and you know the Chicagoland area, most of us know that banks by default that are in the Chicagoland or the Midwest, Chicagoland area or the Midwest, they mainly pull TransUnion. Okay, so, but there are some big banks like Chase that will use TransUnion as well as Equifax. So they'll pull two. But a lot of banks may pull TransUnion. First Midwest is one of those banks in Chicago. Fifth Third Bank is one of those banks in Chicago. So they pull TransUnion specifically or solely. And so if your TransUnion is pretty good, you have a great chance of getting credit with them. A credit card, line of credit, a loan, auto loan, a refinance, which they will pull. They will pull the other two bureaus. Um, I was just checking to see if the video uploaded. So, but that's very important. So you need to know sometimes you'll have these weird ranges, right? Like your Experian is really high and your TransUnion is really, really low. But you need to know that. You need to know what banks pull what bureau. That's important. But you have to know your credit. And what you don't want to do, and I encourage everybody, again, this is to I really want to make sure I give you some information so you can do what you need to do to make educated decisions. Because the way the economy has been, the way it's going, you have to kind of be more savvy than ever. You have to know what the advantages are. You have to have a vantage point. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're dealing with, what you're getting involved with. You got to know what type of, you don't want to just give yourself up to the banks and be at the mercy of them and you have no idea what they're looking at. Unless you're clean across the board. If you're clean 100% across the board, then that's fine. If you know your credit is on point, you're 750 and above across the board, or 760 or 780, then fine. But if you're teetering 700, one bureau may be 690, one may be 740, and the other one is 710. You need to know which is which and who's pulling what. Because if you go to a bank and all you need is a credit card or a loan, and you're trying to get an auto loan, and you want the best rate, why play with it? Why even go to a bank that may not even approve you or give you a higher rate if you would just know what they're expecting or what they're looking for by empowering yourself and giving yourself your own knowledge of what your credit situation is, your credit health is, then you don't have to be in the mercy of the bank. I hate that. I hate going to a car dealership and you not really know what your credit is and you're just praying, oh Lord, I hope I get approved. To me, that's the worst thing in the world. I don't want to be, especially when you know. There's an old guy always say, you call him Deke, my buddy's grandfather, was always say, it's always easier when you know how. So when you know better, you should do better, right? So go into it knowing what's going on. Don't be afraid to look at your credit report. As terrible as you feel it may be, it's like going to the doctor. You know something is wrong, you're not feeling well, your leg is hurting, or you're hurt, you twisted something here, and you may not want to hear the results. But at the end of the day, you kind of need to know what's going on because it may not be as bad as you thought, and you could probably prevent something from happening worse. Same thing with credit. It may not be as bad as you thought, and even if it is, know that it's bad, and don't put yourself out there. Don't go applying for stuff just to see what sticks against the wall, throwing spaghetti and trying to see what sticks. Don't do that. Empower yourself. Get knowledge. Find out what's going on with your credit. Those websites are pretty cool. Credit Check Total, Privacy Guard, MyScore.com, Equifax.com, FreeCreditReport.com. There's so many of them now, it's ridiculous. Now, they cost, could be a pain in the butt because who wants to pay monthly service fees? But it's worth the headache because if you don't know what's going on, you're going to pay for it in interest rates. Or you're going to pay for it in embarrassment and turn downs and all these inquiries and not getting any approvals. So you need to know that. So there are certain banks. I can tell you right now, PNC Bank, Wells Fargo, they pull Experian. Experian is usually catering to the, I've noticed in the West Coast and the Midwest and the Southwest, also American Express pulls Experian. So if you got a very high Experian credit report and you like American Express, try American Express. Very good company. Terrible for the merchant account holders, but great for the consumers. American Express backs you all the way. They look at Experian. You have a very good Experian score. Now, your TransUnion, again, could suck. But your Experian might be on point, a.k.a. an approval. So those are the things you need to know. And these are people that know credit, understand it. This is common knowledge to some of my counterparts or some of my colleagues or people that are in the know. They know this stuff and whatever. But the people who may not know or just not sure, kind of heard it, not really sure, this is for you. So understand your credit. Know it. You should know. It's like there's a saying that people have been saying that I've heard that you need to show people how to treat you. Well, that's the same thing with credit. If you know your credit is whack and you don't want to be treated like you're whack, don't give it to them. Don't just go out there doing it because you're thirsty or you want to do something real quick or you're in a bad situation. And I understand that happens. But know for yourself. At least go into it knowing, all right, it's going to be tricky. It may not get it. This may not happen. They may look at me sideways or whatever. That's cool. As long as you know that. You have to know that. And you can also tell them, hey, I know what I got. This is my score. This is what I have on that. Can you work with it? Before I tell you to pull it, before you pull my credit, I'm telling you right now. And if you don't know, say you don't know and talk to somebody who do. What's the likelihood of me being ran? Second, when and or if you pull my credit and you think that I can't get done, now, I don't want you to pull it again. How many times are you going to have to pull it to tell me yes or no? So you can tell them that. And people, they got to respect it. They may get a little annoyed with you, that type of thing. And those customers you see that come in and say, I want to have a 1% interest rate and I'm not going to pay any money down. And we may looking like they're being annoying or being some sort of a douchebag or a jerk. But they know what they want. And they don't have to settle. And they can go elsewhere. And they are very picky. I don't need you to pull my credit. You should be able to pull my credit once. One last piece of advice. There are credit unions out there. And there are certain banks that if you go and get approved at the bank, if you have a relationship with the bank, let's say Chase or Wells Fargo, you go get approved with the bank. They'll pull your credit once. You're either approved or you're denied. If they don't deny you off bat, they're probably processing. They're looking through it to see how much they can approve you for. If they approve you, that's one inquiry. Once they approve you, they allow you to find your vehicle, go to the dealership of your choice, or within certain criteria. There can't be a bank. Sometimes it can't be a no-name bank or one of them weird mom pop shop. They may frown on that. But if it's a verifiable bank or a dealership or some company that's in good standing, they'll give you the check to give to them. One inquiry. You know what you approve for. You know what your payments are. You can pick your car. Go to the dealership, you tell them what you want. You ask for whatever. They approve you for $25,000 and you saw a Jeep or a Lexus truck or whatever for $24,500. You tell them you want the car for tax, title, and license out the door. You ain't got to put no money down for $25,000. They don't like it, go somewhere else and get the vehicle you want and pay only what the bank gives you. So, I don't know, my video just cut off, so I guess that gave me the 10-minute mark, 10-minute warning. But so that's my last. I think that might be the last video of the night. I'm gonna try again tomorrow, or the next day. Mother's Day is coming up. So listen, mad love for everybody. Please follow the video or follow the YouTube channel. Subscribe, share it. This is only information I'm sharing. Go to the website if you're interested in buying trade lines. If you have questions about credit repair, if you have questions about what may be going on with your credit, please feel free to call us or email us or inbox me, or I'm on Instagram. And all the information should be on somewhere on the bottom of the video somewhere. But please feel free to ask any questions. I'm not, it's okay. And if I can help in any way, let me know. Don't go out there blind. Don't be silly. Don't be ignorant. Know your credit health. Okay? And up your credit game. For real. Holla.